Chosen ones, listen carefully, because what I am about to tell you is just for you. It is no coincidence that you are seeing this video right now. Something important is happening in your life, and that is why God has led you here. You are taking the first steps towards realizing your full potential, overcoming those who question you, and taking back what you have always deserved. This is no ordinary change. This is the point at which you transcend and become the one who commands, not the one who demands. The things you have prayed for, hoped for, and thought about are no longer distant dreams but your reality. However, to properly embody this empowerment, you need to be aware of the power that is growing within you. As a chosen one, you will soon see opportunities arise, paths become clearer, and doors open in ways that will amaze others. However, to claim this power, you must connect yourself to the energy of this divine transformation. Before we continue with this life-changing message, take a moment to do 3 things. Press the like button, subscribe to help us reach 5,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 11. This number has a divine power to reveal your destiny and increase the energy of this video. Remember that if you are truly chosen, you will watch this video to the end. Even if your soul already knows this message is for you, you may not survive if you are not prepared for the truth. For those of you who grasp this, your life will undergo a permanent transformation. Now let us take over your powers. As the power of the chosen one has increased, so has the scrutiny. Those who feared their growing influence began to look for any sign of weakness, any flaw that could be used against them. They believed that by destroying the character of the chosen one, they could prevent the inevitable. Opponents, and even people who used to consider themselves comrades turned their heads, ready to attack any weakness they saw. Although the tension was unbearable, the chosen one felt something stirring inside, a sense of peace, a realization that this was just part of the process. Every step they took was being scrutinized, every flaw magnified, every expression distorted, and every movement scrutinized. But the chosen one kept his composure through it all. They were aware that there would be constant opposition along the way, but it only strengthened their resolve. The world was unaware that they were protected by something far more powerful, something that was impervious to human scrutiny and could not be harmed or destroyed. The chosen ones remained steadfast despite their best efforts, their resolve like steel hardened by hardship. As their lives were investigated, it became clear that they had no weaknesses. The opponents missed the fact that the so-called shortcomings they were after were actually stepping stones to greatness rather than indicators of weakness. The chosen ones became stronger, more resilient, and more mission-oriented as a result of each obstacle they faced. Their progress was demonstrated by the fact that what had previously seemed like weakness was now a badge of pride. The chosen ones had nothing to hide because they understood that true strength is the capacity to get up after falling, no matter how many times they have fallen. Their change was triggered by attempts to tear them apart. The more the chosen one was pushed, the stronger they became. For the next 48 hours, you will be materially abundant. Write 22 to confirm that what you are about to learn today will change your life. It seemed as if the cosmos was working together to transform them into the force they were destined to become. And when their opponents became impatient in their search for flaws, they began to see that something far more powerful than anything they could comprehend was at work. Everything was different then. No one could have predicted how the tide would turn. What everyone thought would be their downfall became their greatest triumph. They were propelled forward by the same challenges that others feared would destroy them. Although the chosen ones always knew that challenges would arise, they now realized that these challenges were not obstacles. They were opportunities. Opportunities to push harder, to climb higher, to show the strength within them. This was an important moment when they started taking responsibility and stopped being reactive. They were more focused, more determined, and more aware of their own power, because of the probe that was supposed to tear them apart. Knowing that their full power would be unleashed in these special circumstances, the chosen one had learned to embrace adversity and lean into it with unwavering confidence. The opinions of others would no longer influence them, and the burden of uncertainty would no longer cause them to falter. They were now unstoppable, and were getting closer to realizing that their destiny had already been written, and there was nothing to seek. They didn't have to convince anyone of anything. All they had to do was follow their course, believe in their destiny, and let the world work in harmony with their divine purpose. More and more they resisted the pressures of the world and turned what began as an underdog story into the triumphant rise of a human being whose destiny was truly greatness. The atmosphere around them changed. Awe and admiration replaced the cynicism and mistrust that had existed before. What began as a desire to destroy them turned into a tacit acknowledgement of their might. The Chosen One had transformed from a single person into a force, and anyone who stood in their way was only fueling their inexorable rise. As their adventures progressed, a deeper power began to emerge that no one had foreseen. The tenacity of the Chosen One became something that no one could fully understand. It was about thriving in the face of adversity, not just surviving or enduring it. Every obstacle and failure only served to reveal a new level of inner strength. They seemed to be drawn from an unlimited reservoir of power greater than human endurance. The Chosen One was not only strong, but indestructible. The Chosen One saw what others perceived as a challenge as a test, a chance to access an unlimited reservoir of power. A powerful presence to mobilize the energy of your Chosen One. The first spark of a profound revolution. Write 33 in the comments section. It was not just about perseverance through sheer willpower. The goal was to attune to something much bigger than themselves. The Chosen One was no longer just an individual. They were the embodiment of something greater, a vehicle for an unquestionable mission. This was not just human determination, but divine power at work. People began to realize that the presence of the Chosen One had a magnetic quality that they could not describe. They overcame many obstacles and came out stronger each time, but that was not all. It was because they had an irresistible vitality. Not only were they physically resilient, they were emotionally, mentally, and spiritually resilient. The universe around them felt compelled to pay attention, as if they had discovered a higher plane of existence. And as their authority grew, something extraordinary happened. The very people who had previously questioned them and hoped for their demise now admired the very thing they had tried to discredit. The resistance of the Chosen One was now more than a personal triumph. It was a real-life example of the power of perseverance, faith, and divine guidance. The world had to accept the truth. The Chosen One was destined for greatness, and that person was impenetrable and unshakable. The Chosen One was first viewed with doubt and uncertainty. Every action was scrutinized, every choice was evaluated. But the story began to change over time. The same traits that were ridiculed by others took on a new importance. What seemed like a weakness became a strength. Despite the harshest judgments, the Chosen One remained unwavering. They remained true to their goals, even when no one else could see the bigger picture. And then there was an epiphany. The same people who had been so ready to criticize were now in awe of the very person they had tried to undermine. The strength of the Chosen One lay not in his capacity to avoid mistakes, but in his indomitable will to rise again after every setback. What others saw as weakness was their strength. No one could dispute the depth of their character, revealed in their perseverance in the face of adversity. As the days passed, the actions of the Chosen One became more powerful than words. Their capacity to persevere in the face of adversity and keep moving forward was their real strength, not their ability to take over the world. People who had previously ridiculed them began to see the truth. They saw the emergence of a leader who served as a light for others to follow. And in that moment, everything changed. Skeptics, doubters, and even enemies were humbled. They saw that the Chosen One was more than a person of authority. He was a personification of the tremendous impact that perseverance, optimism, and self-belief can have. The Chosen One's journey continued unabated and unceasing, and what had been judgment turned to admiration. The further the Chosen One traveled, the more it became clear that something more, an unseen force that defied explanation or logic, was guiding them. They were protected from the threats and challenges that were trying to derail them by a greater force, a divine presence. It was not just luck or coincidence. There was always an invisible hand guiding them, keeping them safe and keeping them on their intended course, no matter how many challenges they faced or how hard the world tried. Although invisible, this spiritual protection was deeply felt. As if the cosmos itself was paving the way, The chosen one would always find a way around a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. It was as if every opportunity was presented to them just in time, and every door they needed to enter was opened at the perfect moment. The chosen one's path was characterized by grace and a suppressed confidence that they were being guided by something greater than themselves. It was more than just overcoming difficulties. It was the realization that every obstacle had a greater purpose and deeper significance. The chosen ones were protected by a divine force that did more than just keep them safe. It also served to educate, develop, and prepare them for the leadership position they were destined to assume. And as they progressed, this energy became more and more evident with each step, strengthening their conviction that they were not traveling alone. Those who had previously questioned the power of the chosen one began to realize that they were surrounded by this unquestionable presence. The protection was mental, emotional, and spiritual, as well as physical. Something far greater than human comprehension was shaping and guiding the chosen one. The fact that this was a path to greatness became more and more evident. The relentless search for flaws served to reveal more about the chosen one than anyone had imagined. Every search and every effort to uncover flaws resulted in something extraordinary. The reviewers only uncovered their own shortcomings. The deeper they probed, the more they revealed the nature of the chosen one. Instead of detecting weaknesses in their armor, scientists found indestructible layers of strength and resilience. What they had hoped to see as evidence of failure instead showed a person growing and learning in the face of adversity. As the research progressed, it became clear that the strength of the chosen person did not come from their perfection, but from their capacity to carry on despite their flaws. Their supposed shortcomings had become their greatest strength, shaping them into the individuals they were becoming and teaching them invaluable lessons. The test did not destroy them. On the contrary, it made them stronger, smarter, and more self-aware. They used the flaws that others tried to point out as stepping stones to their destiny. Their connection to their divine destiny grew stronger with each test and challenge. The chosen one was guided by something far more powerful than human intelligence, but the researchers did not realize it. An invisible force was at work that they could not comprehend. No matter how hard they tried to uncover the cracks, they could never reach the deeper layers of power and knowledge. Despite their flaws, the chosen one found the strength to overcome all obstacles because that is what they were meant to be. The investigation ultimately backfired. Instead of weakening the power of the chosen one, it made it unquestionable. The more others tried to separate them, the closer they came to their goal. What appeared to be an investigation of weaknesses became a confirmation of the unquestionable power of the chosen one. The forces that had tried to tear them apart were now working to advance them because their goal was unstoppable. Understanding the chosen one was a difficult path. Each layer was deeper than the last. Those who tried to learn the truth about this person discovered that there was no simple explanation or one right answer. The truth was much more complex than at first glance. As the layers were removed, it became clear that the chosen one was not just a person with potential, but a channel for a divine purpose. A being created to follow a special course of their own. As people investigated further, they realized that the essence of the chosen one could not be fully grasped by reason or judgment. Their purpose and power came from something far more sacred than selfish desires. The truth became clearer and clearer. The chosen one was led by God. He was an important part of a much bigger plan that is beyond our understanding. The truths were too big to grasp at once, and those who tried to unravel them were only beginning to scratch the surface. This reality was not only about the identity of the chosen one, but also about the reason for their existence. It was the divine essence they carried that gave them resilience and enabled them to overcome every obstacle. When people began to piece together this fundamental truth, they discovered that their questioning was never about exposing their weaknesses. It was about discovering a profound narrative that had been written long before the chosen one set foot on earth. A narrative that transcends time and space, larger than anyone could have imagined. For those who had questioned it before, as the layers of truth continued to unfold, the nature of the chosen one became more apparent. Their perceived imperfections were actually pieces of a divine puzzle, each piece revealing something more extraordinary than the last. And those who tried to uncover these flaws could only look back in amazement, as they were part of a journey they could never fully comprehend. It became increasingly clear that the Chosen One is more than just a person with selfish goals. They were motivated by a greater purpose, a divine mission that was incomprehensible to others. It was difficult for an ordinary person to understand or even articulate this purpose. Long before the Chosen One was born, his calling had been predetermined by the stars. The inner calling shining brightly in the heart of the Chosen One was invisible to everyone around them, but they could see the outward manifestations of its splendor. This spiritual purpose had nothing to do with money, fame, or self-interest. It was for the greater good. Every action of the Chosen One was motivated by this purpose, and as they followed the route set for them, it became increasingly clear that this was more than just a personal journey. It was for everyone they would come into contact with. With every choice they made and every step they took, they were getting closer to completing this goal. And when the world saw the scope of what the Chosen One was truly here to do, it could do nothing but be drawn into the orbit of this great mission. This was a sacred mission for the Chosen One. No matter how difficult the path, they could not ignore it or give it up. It was the reason they were born on this planet and the purpose of their lives. Even in their darkest moments, their goal motivated them and gave them the strength to overcome challenges that would have defeated anyone else. They were not alone on their journey. They were guided by a greater power, and as they progressed, they began to realize that they were living a destiny predetermined by the stars. As more people realized the importance of their heavenly mission, respect and love for the Chosen One grew rapidly. They were serving a purpose that no one could have foreseen, guiding people towards a better future rather than simply following their own course. And with every step, they were getting closer to playing the role they were always destined to play in this vast fabric of life. The detectives, who previously thought they could discover every secret, were completely shocked by the discoveries that came to light as the Chosen One's mission progressed. What they imagined they knew about the Chosen One, what they thought their excavations had uncovered, was just the tip of the iceberg. The more they dug, the more they realized that there were truths beyond their comprehension. They were astounded not only by the power of the Chosen One, but also by the unshakable foundation of the mission, which rested on something far greater than the human mind could comprehend. The investigators had to face the painful reality that they were after the wrong things. Instead of uncovering the flaws and destroying the character of the Chosen One, they had discovered a story far larger than they could comprehend. As their investigation progressed, they became more and more aware that they were not dealing with a single person. They were seeing the rise of a person who was intended by divine decree to change the course of history. Not only the investigators were impressed by these findings, but also everyone watching. As the reality became clearer, the mission of the Chosen One could no longer be denied. Those who had previously questioned or tried to block his path now had to face the indisputable fact that the Chosen One was destined for greatness. The divine purpose was now being realized before them, seen by the same forces that had attempted to kill them. And then the roles were reversed. The only option left to the investigators who had previously tried to undermine the Chosen One was to recognize the power and intention that drove them down this path. They were deeply shaken by the realization that they had seen the truth. While the Chosen One's path was not an easy one, it was always intended to put them in a position of leadership. It was characterized by hardship, dedication, and perseverance. Built on a foundation of perseverance, hard work, and unwavering faith, the climb was steady rather than sudden. The Chosen One did not seek leadership. Rather, leadership found him because he was ready to take on the responsibilities involved. As the Chosen One progressed, he or she began to assume the leadership position, but there were challenges along the way. Some questioned every choice they made, questioned their leadership skills, and tried to bring them down. But the Chosen One grew stronger with each challenge. They gained new skills in listening, mentoring, and motivating others. Power was only one aspect of leadership. Another was service, or using one's power to encourage others and advance a common goal. Their rise was characterized by their ability to elevate those around them rather than exalting themselves. They realized that motivating people to believe in themselves, overcome personal obstacles, and strive for a higher purpose is the essence of successful leadership. With every choice and every courageous act, the chosen one was influencing not only their own destiny, but also the destiny of those who would come after them. When the world recognized their leadership, it became clear that the chosen one was more than just a leader with a title. They demonstrated their leadership through their deeds, their moral values, and their unwavering commitment to their divine purpose. They were now on the brink of glory, ready to fulfill their ultimate destiny after a long and arduous journey. As the chosen one's journey progressed, a remarkable change occurred. People who had previously opposed them, questioned their competence, and tried to block their goals, began to see how important the chosen one's leadership was. The same people who had opposed them suddenly realized that they were part of something much bigger than their own concerns and egos. Since the world changed, the leadership of the chosen one was no longer a danger. It served as a beacon of hope. The forces that had previously opposed their rise now found themselves obliged to support the chosen one. They had personally experienced the strength, tenacity, and wisdom that led them, and slowly they began to see that being the chosen one was not about controlling others. It was about being a compassionate leader with a deep awareness of the challenges faced by the people they were leading. The chosen one now served as a unifying factor, bringing together individuals from all walks of life in a previously divided world. The chosen one's capacity to motivate and guide others became unquestionable as his influence grew. What had begun as a struggle for survival became a guiding mission, leading people towards a future that was only possible through cooperation. The chosen ones were no longer struggling alone. They had the support of a network of people who understood their mission and the importance of their leadership. This was the final victory in the chosen one's journey from persecution to support. In addition to surviving the hardships, they had used each failure as a chance to motivate others. Those who had previously opposed them had finally been humbled. The leadership of the chosen one was now self-evident. They had become the true leaders of their time, fulfilling a divine purpose that was always written in the stars. No matter how bleak things may seem, there is a power in the light that cannot be extinguished. I stood beside them, united in our common goal for a better future. This light was emitted by the chosen one who radiated courage, strength, and optimism. Making judgments was only one aspect of their leadership. Another was guiding people towards the future, even when it seemed uncertain. Their leadership was unshakable, but it was a strength that came not from wielding power, but from understanding who you are and why you are here. This inner light illuminated every step they took, guiding them through their darkest moments and helping them to lead others out of their own darkness. Instead of mindlessly asking others to follow them, the chosen one illuminated the course to be followed. In doing so, they enabled others to discover their own light and take on leadership roles in their own right. This power of light was a real force that radiated from every choice and action of the chosen one. It was not just a metaphor. It was a force that uplifted and inspired everyone they came into contact with to be their best selves. People saw the chosen one less as a leader and more as a sign of hope, of what is possible when you embrace your own power and purpose. As the light of the chosen one continued to grow stronger, it became clear that this was a light that would never go out. Long after the chosen one had completed his or her final mission, others would continue to be guided, inspired, and guided by this light. The path to greatness would always be illuminated by the infinite power of this light. At every step, the chosen one fulfilled a destiny etched in the stars. Throughout their journey, they have undergone significant change, growth, and sacrifice. And when they finally reached the pinnacle of their mission, it became clear that their impact would last for decades. The story of the chosen one is not just about their ascent, but about the people they impacted along the way, the individuals they motivated, and the transformations they brought about in the hearts of others. The impact of the chosen one was felt not only in their achievements, but also in the way they changed history and inspired others to fulfill their potential. They left a deep impact on every continent of the world. When they realized that they had achieved their purpose, they were happy not because they had achieved personal glory and fame, but because they had led others to greatness. Their destiny was fulfilled not by the accolades they received, but by the profound change they brought about in other people. The Chosen One had shown the world that achieving greatness requires teamwork rather than individual effort. Moreover, through their leadership, they had left a legacy that would last long after they were gone. The world watched in amazement at what they had achieved as their destiny was fulfilled. As well as achieving their own goals, the Chosen One helped others to discover their own. And in doing so, history was irrevocably changed. Their influence would endure, serving as a tribute to the power of divine guidance, unyielding determination, and relentless purpose. The path of the Chosen One has come full circle. People who had previously resisted, ridiculed, and tried to discredit them suddenly found themselves in a supportive role. Opponents became friends, and the roles were reversed. It was a remarkable shift that demonstrated the strength of the Chosen One's purpose and the rightness of his mission. They were now seen as a necessity rather than a threat. Those who had previously hoped for their destruction now found themselves cooperating with them. In addition to overcoming the obstacles in their path, the Chosen One had motivated everyone around them to see the truth and realize that their genius was something to embrace, not something to fear. Those who had previously seen them as a rival or a threat now recognized the strength and intelligence of their leader. They also discovered that when they came together with the Chosen One, their personal goals were always connected. This was the power of truth. Once made public, it was inevitable. The rise of the Chosen One was no longer seen by many who had previously opposed it as a threat to their personal success, but as an opportunity to participate in something much bigger. Knowing that their individual success was linked to the group's goal, they joined forces to help the Chosen One reach even greater heights. The eventual metamorphosis of the opposition was proof of the effectiveness of the Chosen One's leadership. People who had previously stood in their way were now standing by their side, not out of duty, but out of a deep and sincere appreciation for the journey and the task they had accomplished. The roles were reversed, and the Chosen One was now the one who inspired and united everyone along their journey. A spark, a small vibration that would eventually illuminate their entire universe, was ignited within the Chosen One in the quiet moments of existence. They did not choose this spark. It found them. A call from their souls, a whisper in their hearts, telling them to live the life they were always destined to live. In the beginning, it was just a subtle, elusive feeling that they were aware was there, waiting, but they couldn't quite understand it. They had no idea that this spark was the beginning of something much bigger than they could ever imagine. Along with the spark of destiny, their sense of purpose blossomed. The world began to change and align with the course they were unwittingly preparing to take. When you are asked to achieve something bigger than yourself, it is never simple. However, every challenge and obstacle only serve to feed that fire and make it burn hotter. When they truly accepted their destiny, the Chosen One realized that it wasn't just about them. It was about the change that would take place on a world, human, and collective level. The change became evident to others around them. They began to be recognized as extraordinary by others who had previously seen them as ordinary. This was something more subdued at first, a peaceful assurance, a resolute belief that they were here for a purpose. The spark of destiny spread slowly but surely. This spark not only lit their path, but also opened the way for others. People who wanted to witness the light of purpose were drawn towards the Chosen One because their life became a beacon. The spark of destiny eventually became a force far more powerful than all the challenges they faced. When everything else seemed hopeless, it was the flame that kept them going. When they truly accepted their mission, they discovered that they were on a course that had been waiting for them all along, a course characterized by glory, transformation, and a strong connection with something divine. The Chosen One first had to deal with darkness, both real and symbolic. Their every movement was hampered by the crippling weight of uncertainty, worry, and doubt, rather than the lack of light in the outside world. The way forward was shrouded in darkness, and every option seemed out of reach. But amidst all this gloom, there was also a glimmer of optimism and a strong conviction that now was the time to rise. Although it would not be easy, there was no turning back. Courage is the capacity to move forward despite fear, not the absence of fear. Guided by an unknown force, the chosen one took their first steps into the unknown. Each step was a struggle between the darkness around them and the light within. Their inner voice, the whisper of destiny, was louder than the doubts of other people. They showed that their purpose was greater than the forces that tried to stop them, overcoming the darkness at every obstacle. As they continued on their path, they discovered that the darkness was not as powerful as it first seemed. As they moved towards their power, they became more aware that the shadows around them were only the result of their inability to fully embrace their light. Each obstacle and challenge served as a chance to demonstrate their ability to lead and rise. For all those waiting to see what was possible on the other side, the chosen one realized that they had to break through the darkness, and not just for themselves. When they came out of the darkness, the world changed. A dazzling light, growing stronger every day, seemed to replace the once overwhelming darkness. They had reached a point where nothing could stop them, because they had the courage to step forward. The chosen one had not only defeated the darkness, but had become a beacon of light for others to follow. When you are on the verge of something incredible, doubt has a way of creeping into your thoughts. Doubt was a persistent companion of the chosen one. It suggested that perhaps their adventure was not what it should have been, that they were not ready, that they were not good enough. But in every whisper there was a quiet but determined inner voice telling them to keep going. This inner voice grew louder and stronger over time, eventually drowning out the doubts completely. The chosen one began to realize that believing in themselves was not a choice, but an obligation. This unwavering belief did not happen overnight. Rather, it was the culmination of countless small victories, moments when they showed themselves that they could defy the odds. Every obstacle they faced was an opportunity to reinforce their perseverance and determination. And with each victory, the chosen one's belief in themselves grew stronger, creating an unshakable foundation on which to build the rest of their existence. Once they accepted this newfound faith, something amazing happened. Other people began to believe in them too. Everyone around the chosen one was motivated to stand up and trust in their own abilities by their infectious self-confidence. It seemed as if the power of belief could light the same fire in other people. The chosen one's unwavering belief in herself was more than a gain for her. It was a movement, a force that changed everyone she came into contact with. Ultimately, the ultimate destiny of the chosen one was determined by the power of their faith. They had unleashed their full potential, shattering the doubts that had previously prevented them from reaching their full potential. They were no longer afraid or unsure. They were unstoppable. They had been set free by an unshakable faith, and nothing could stop them now. The path of the chosen one was never forged alone. Invisible forces were at work, guiding them at every turn, even if they were not fully aware of it. From the outside, it looked as if they were just acting on instinct, making choices and acting with extraordinary clarity. But the reality was a hand from God. If you enjoyed this inspiring adventure and would like to see more videos that challenge convention and explore the exceptional, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share with your friends, and leave a comment below. Please share your thoughts with us. The story doesn't end here. Stay tuned for more. Let's keep pushing the boundaries together.